Well, good morning and welcome to the Presbyterian Church of Marion in Marion Center, Pennsylvania, to our YouTube worship service for March 21st, 2021. And I'm Pastor Chris Enoch, and along with Elder Donna Knopf, who will be preaching, we are glad that you are spending some time with us. I have a few announcements I do want to share with you. Next Sunday, Palm Sunday, the deacons will be holding a socially distant social after worship, and there's going to be some activity for the kids too. So that's at 10:30 at live in-person worship here at the church. We also will be holding an in-person Monday, Thursday service on Thursday, April 1st, no fooling, 7 p.m. This is going to be a very simple, quiet service that will include the Lord's Supper. Deb Hill will be acting as a cantor, for lack of a better word to use for that service. There will not be an online presentation for Monday, Thursday, however. On Easter Sunday, we will include two identical services here at the church, 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. We are not asking for reservations, but you need to know space is going to be limited. I do plan to put up a service on YouTube that Sunday, Resurrection Day, which is the most important day in human history, bar none. So we are in Lent, and together here we've been looking at a season of miracles. A few days ago, I ran into an article about a fellow by the name of Fred Clem. As a young man, he described himself as rugged, mean, and nasty. By age 23, he had married and separated from his wife and two young sons. He says back then he didn't really believe in God, although he thought if there was a God and he was as forgiving as everyone says, then you know what? He would forgive all the things that he has been doing. And that's about as much thought as he gave to the subject. But then something very dramatic happened to him that changed his world. On August 17th, 1996, he was riding a jet ski at Smith Point Beach in Shirley, New York. And he was going fast, about 40 miles per hour, when he jumped a large wake from a passing fishing boat and he hit a sandbar. And Fred sustained massive head trauma from the impact. And he was knocked out. As a matter of fact, he floated in the water for about 17 minutes before someone pulled him out. He was flown by helicopter to a hospital, and he was put on life support because he was comatose, and frankly, he was not expected to live through the night. But to everyone's surprise, he did make it through the night. The doctors told his family, however, that he probably would not survive the next week. And yet he hung on, still in a coma, still on life support. He continued in this state week after week, month after month, and all the time the doctors told his family that chances are he would never wake up, and even if he did, he would be in terrible shape, he'd be blind, he'd be brain damaged, he'd probably be paralyzed. Well, Fred writes this: "While all this was occurring, I remained comatose and had no idea what was happening. I thought I had gone to sleep next to my wife and that my kids were asleep in the next room and that everything was fine. Then I thought I was dreaming, but it wasn't a dream. I had a vision. I saw Jesus Christ at the Last Supper and his apostles sitting around him at the table." And again, Fred writes, "I knew in my heart it was Jesus. He didn't say anything. He just got up and walked over to me. He reached out with his hand toward me and I reached up. And he touched my hand and I instantly woke up. After being in a coma for nearly 6 months, when Jesus touched me, I immediately awakened." Now, there is a whole lot more to the story, but this is what he shares now. "Since that time, my life has changed for the better. For one, I definitely believe in Jesus now. I gave my life to him and have become a born-again Christian. And the Lord has blessed me abundantly. The doctor said I was supposed to be blind, mentally impaired, or paralyzed, and I have none of these conditions. They said I would need to take anti-seizure medication for the rest of my life, but I don't. And I have a great job, a driver's license, my own car. The Lord has removed the anger and has given me peace in my soul. and I am so happy and thankful for all he's done for me. I didn't even believe in God, he writes, but he reached out and he saved me. And you know what? When God reaches out to you personally, he says, then you really know the truth. This goes beyond religion, and no one can ever take that away from you. No, his life since then hasn't been perfect, but his trust in the one that makes all things perfect maybe is ultimately what this miracle is about. Because miracles still happen, and perhaps the greatest miracle of all is faith. So we are here. We're in a season of miracles, and here is Amanda and Kenzie with the candle dampening reading for today.
One day, Jesus walked on water.
Why? Couldn't he take a boat?
He did it to prove a point,
Okay, what point did he prove?
that if we only have enough faith, we too can do miracles.
Like walking on water?
Maybe more important things than walking on water.
I hope someday I can do an important miracle like Jesus.
I'm sure that day will come, but until then,
Well, we are here to worship God. Let's do that.